Rui Hachimura shouldn't be a member of the Los Angeles Lakers starting lineup, and instead, JJ Redick should look to use Marcus Smart or Jared Vanderbilt alongside the rest of the first five. Alongside Luka Doncic and LeBron James, placing a point-of-attack defender like Smart would perfectly round things out, especially with how Hachimura has looked. Despite his ideal size for the 4 spot, Hachimura hasn't looked amazing on defense. And with Doncic and a 40-year-old James in the starting group, Redick needs to make sure he puts the best possible defenders around them. At this point, it could be a better idea to roll with Smart or Vanderbilt. That said, the Lakers will have plenty of time to experiment throughout the course of the season, and Hachimura could be very effective off the bench. Who should the Lakers start? Through the Lakers' first 2 preseason games, Hachimura has struggled. Not only has he failed to shoot the ball efficiently on the offensive end, but his defense hasn't been great, either. This could leave room for Redick to experiment with different starting lineups. The Lakers have okay depth, but if they want to compete in a crowded West, they need everything to be clicking nicely. Hachimura's struggles on defense would disrupt that. Vanderbilt, on the other hand, has looked great during the preseason so far. He hasn't been the same since his injury issues kicked in, but in each of the past 2 games, he's been impressive. Though his offensive game is still shaky, especially from beyond the 3-point line, he's a pesky defender who knows how to make a significant impact on that end of the court. If he can continue to improve as an off-ball cutter offensively, it could help Redick keep him on the floor so the Lakers can utilize his defensive skill set. As for Smart, while the veteran guard hasn't appeared in either of the Lakers' first 2 preseason games, it's very obvious what he brings to the table, even this late into his career. Despite having dealt with injuries for the past few seasons, Smart is still a very smart defender who should be able to help the Lakers on that end of the court. While he may no longer be an 82-game player, especially with his injury history, his defense could be a perfect pairing next to Doncic in the Lakers' backcourt, especially considering how well he has been able to guard bigger guys over the course of his career. Hachimura could end up being the starter, but Redick should seriously consider replacing him with either Smart or Vanderbilt. Rumors surrounding Giannis Antetokounmpo's future are once again taking center stage. According to Shams Charania of The Athletic, the 2-time MVP's only preferred trade destination, should he ever request one, would be the New York Knicks. It's a logical fit, a major market, a deep roster, and an aggressive front office built to win now. But there's another franchise that could turn that dream upside down, the Los Angeles Lakers. Unlike most years when their name surfaces in superstar rumors for attention, this time the Lakers have 2 very real advantages that make them a legitimate threat in the Giannis sweepstakes. 1. Luka Doncic is the co-star Giannis has never had. The Lakers are already positioned with one of the few players in the NBA capable of matching Giannis' impact, Luka Doncic. The 26-year-old is entering his prime, under contract long-term, and fresh off leading the Dallas Mavericks to the NBA Finals 2 years ago. Doncic starts the 2025-26 season with plus 380 MVP odds per FanDuel, trailing only Nikola Jokic, plus 350, and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, plus 150. Giannis, now past 30, sits tied for 4th at plus 1,200 alongside Victor Wembanyama. The 2 are both generational talents, but Doncic is entering the peak of his dominance while Giannis is beginning to transition out of his. A partnership between them would balance both of their strengths, Doncic's elite perimeter playmaking and Giannis' inside dominance, creating one of the most dynamic duos in modern NBA history. Luka would finally have an all-NBA defender and finisher next to him. Giannis would finally have an offensive engine who could carry him through stretches. That's something the Knicks simply can't offer. Jalen Brunson and Karl-Anthony Towns are stars in their own right, but neither has the transcendent MVP-level ceiling that Doncic provides. 2. The Lakers' 2027 cap space changes everything. The other reason the Lakers could leapfrog the Knicks comes down to long-term planning and cap flexibility. Los Angeles has been intentionally structuring its contracts to open nearly $100 million in cap space by 2027, the exact offseason when Antetokounmpo can become an unrestricted free agent. If LeBron James retires by then, Luka Doncic's $53.6 million salary will be the only significant contract on the books. Every other deal, including those of role players and veterans, expires beforehand. That setup isn't by accident. The Lakers are building toward a post-LeBron future where they can add a second superstar next to Doncic without gutting their roster or trading away assets. Even if Austin Reaves re-signs on a $35 to $40 million deal, the organization can still clear room for a full max slot through expiring deals and rising salary cap projections. This exact dynamic was broken down recently by CBS Sports writer Sam Quinn, who compared Giannis' potential situation to Anthony Davis's 2019 standoff with the Pelicans. Quinn explained that while Davis could threaten to join the Lakers outright in 2020 due to cap space, the Knicks won't have that luxury in 2027. The one major difference between Antetokounmpo now and Davis in 2019? The team for which Davis wanted to play had the cap space to sign him outright when he eventually hit free agency in 2020, Quinn wrote. That probably isn't a threat the Knicks can make. Fortunately for Antetokounmpo, there is a different boogeyman available to him. The Knicks may not have max cap space in 2027, but the Lakers do. If his goal is to win a second championship, partnering up with Luka Doncic is a sensible path to doing so. That quote underscores the Lakers' advantage, not just in talent, but in leverage. If Giannis ever grows unhappy in Milwaukee, he could tell teams not to trade for him and simply wait until 2027 to join the Lakers outright. The bottom line: the Knicks might have the momentum today, but the Lakers have the means and timeline to change the conversation. With Doncic secured long-term and financial freedom looming in 2027, Los Angeles can offer Giannis Antetokounmpo something New York can't: a ready-made path to contention built around a younger superstar. If the Greek Freak ever decides it's time for a new chapter, the Lakers won't just be another rumor. They'll be the real threat. LeBron James failed Tuesday to deliver on his so-called second decision, essentially baiting and subsequently trolling NBA media and fans by hinting that he might announce his upcoming retirement before instead making public a new business partnership with Hennessy, VSOP. But despite the anticlimactic developments of Tuesday, there is still a very real chance that James' tenure with the Los Angeles Lakers comes to an end by this time next year, if not before then. The four-time champion is entering his 23rd professional campaign in 2025 to 26, which also happens to be the final year on his current contract in LA. It is unclear what James' plans are, but retirement or free agency next summer are both in play. There are also several scenarios in which the Lakers might choose to trade James. For instance, if they are certain he isn't returning in 2026 to 27, either because he tells them so or the organization decides it can better use its finances on younger players more specifically suited to play alongside 26-year-old superstar Luka Doncic. Under those circumstances, moving James mid-season to a team looking for a late push toward playoff and/or championship contention could result in a meaningful return for the Lakers, especially if the trade is to a destination where James might decide he wants to play another year or two. The Dallas Mavericks could fit the bill on all counts, with number 1 overall pick Cooper Flagg now in-house and point guard Kyrie Irving, a former championship teammate of James with the Cleveland Cavaliers, potentially on track to return from an ACL tear at some point in the second half of the season. Big man Anthony Davis is also a member of the Mavericks and a former championship teammate of James with the Lakers. The Dallas Mavericks could cobble together the salaries of Klay Thompson, Daniel Gafford, Caleb Martin, and Najee Marshall to get close to James' $52.6 million contract while still keeping Anthony Davis, Kyrie Irving, Cooper Flagg, D'Angelo Russell, PJ Washington, Derek Lively too, and others, Greg Swartz of Bleacher Report wrote Tuesday. We know all too well that these front offices can negotiate behind the scenes. If James is looking for a new home, the Mavericks should be extremely interested in reuniting the four-time MVP with Irving and Davis. Thompson and Gafford both played with Doncic prior to his trade from Dallas to LA last season. Thompson is a four-time NBA champion earning a total of $50 million across 3 years who can provide the exact type of shooting threat that has proven lethal alongside Doncic as the primary ball handler. Meanwhile, Gafford just inked a tradable 3-year, $54 million deal, and is the type of rim-running center/lob threat that has succeeded so well with Doncic in the past.